Hey guys, welcome to another YouTube video from myself, Fraser. Surprise, surprise, it's another Flight Simulator flight. But here we are, we're going to do something slightly different, as we always do. Mind you, most of my flights have been around New Zealand. But yeah, we're going to do a flight using this lovely, probably outdated Qatar World Cup 2022 livery. We're going to do a flight on up to Edinburgh for this flight. Something different. Edinburgh is an airport that Qatar flies to, not the 777-200ER. It's now 787s, but I do believe Qatar did use their long-range 777s, which are basically based on the 200 frame. So we're going to do a little flight as close as that as possible. Not the 787 as of course, but in the 777. But I do believe Qatar did operate the long-range version occasionally into Edinburgh. If not, this is going to be a new flight, I guess. But yeah, here we are in Qatar. We're going to just get this smashed out of the park, and we'll just show you how quickly you can get a flight up and running within a few clicks. So as you can see, this aircraft is this is sort of my vision of a turnaround state. It's like the pilots that left didn't quite clear all the errors and whatnot from the previous landings. So we will go ahead and set it all up for our flight up across the through the Middle East off to Edinburgh, Glasgow, Scotland. So we've loaded up our flight plan for our electronic flight bag, and we're just going to go to index, identity, position init, type in our airport OTHH, oh, wrong one, OTHH, like so. We'll go to route. We're going to go route request, SimBrief, execute, load up set our fuel and payload and set our route, which this one will take the longest to do. While that's doing that, we'll enter in our first altitude, which is going to be 31,000 feet. We'll just go to our flight plan just to make sure that's the sound that our flight plan's loaded. So just going to go load again. Going to reset our checklist, reset all. I'm going to do the old pre-flight checklist. Just waiting for that to load. While that's loading, we can now start our flight plan through FShud. Right, that's our flight plan loaded. It looks pretty legit. Go to our perf page, and it's 32,000 feet, so it's before we enter that, we'll need to just click in this little box here to bring up our zero fuel weight and accept. Then we'll just adjust that to flight level 320. Go to our legs page, route data, load our winds, just select 32 up here. Come on, go up, there we go. Execute. Go to VNAV and bring up our forecast, load these up. Right, we'll go to our legs page, our departure I should say, 34 left. Lubia 1. Sweet, we've done that. Gone to our route. We're now going to our takeoff, and we're going to do sort out our flight, our takeoff calculator, performance tool, 34 left. Import from, I'll just bring up my Shift C stats too. We will go for packs off for our takeoff today because it's a bit hot. Actually, no, we should be alright. We'll just go packs. I'll just go to auto, import, calculate. Sweet, so takeoff to 42. Takeoff to 42. Takeoff, any significant winds, 170/5. And we're going to go flaps 5 for takeoff. Bring up our CG, our trim. Put in our 157 for our takeoff speed. Bring up our runway heading for our takeoff, our departure. Push the magic B button to get our altimeters set, and our heading is going to be 336. Right, we are ready to get going, so we're going to go into our landing dispatch. We're just going to make sure that we can land on the runway. Import the calculate, so that shows us that we should be able to land at Edinburgh. Release the ground crew. We'll disengage the secondary power. We can now turn on all of our hydraulics. Fuel can come on. Seatbelt signs can come on. The beacon light can come on. Our emergency exits. And just like that, we are basically ready for our departure. Just go to door management, arm all the doors, go to our ground services, release the ground power, remove chocks. Right, let's get going. Right, release the parking brake. And we'll start our pushback. Right, we'll start powering. We'll turn on one of these engines, get that going. So we'll come up to here, turn on that engine, select on, we'll turn on our transponder. And we'll get back outside so we can guide our tug back. And we're just going to request taxi clearance so it's ready for when we finish turning on our engines. Right, for some reason the tug's disconnected. I'm going to put on our parking brake. And we'll carry on with the rest of the engine startup. So that one's basically started up. What we will do is, do we need to change our... No, we don't need to change our controls. Right, we will now turn on our next engine. We don't need our fuel tanks and our pumps because we don't have any fuel in the center fuel tanks. Get that powered up. And we can now set our trim, so we'll just go into the flight control page. Set it to 5. You can also use this little thing here as well. I quite like the digital reference. While we're here, I'll just check out controls. While we're here, we'll select flaps 5. But that's all the controls good. Go to the checklist page. Trim and all that's been set. We'll select our rejected takeoff brakes. The flaps are still coming down, we'll just release the brakes. And we'll just push reset to get rid of the burrow, and then we are ready to go. Taxi lights can come on. We'll start our power up, we'll turn on our flight directors. Get that throttle going. Go to the next page. And just like that, if the runway's there, we're basically ready for takeoff. That's how fast you can get using a bit of Microsoft Flight Simulator magic. You can just get this thing powered up and on its way. I'll just get that speed back just a little bit, but one thing we will do is turn off the APU. And I wonder what Edinburgh is going to bring for us today. Going in just a little bit fast around these corners here. In the next flight I'll replace the wheels, because I think my tyres are pretty much bored. I think I've been pretty heavy with the turning around the corners and whatnot. What I might do is I might go with packs off, which hasn't really changed much, but yeah, I'll do a packs off takeoff just for this flight. I mean, the temperature is pretty reasonable actually, but you'll have the packs off just for a bit of extra, a little bit extra power. I might just turn this before I forget to the to that setting there to pick up aircraft, and then I'll turn off the packs now while I'm here. Might be not the best for the people, but luckily this is just a simulation, just so I don't forget. All the rest I won't forget when I'm doing my post-takeoff checklists. Right, that's it. Ready to head on out for our departure. That's the sound to say the cabin are ready. We're ready. Are you guys ready? Because we're not near the runway yet, but we're very close to takeoff. What was that? Oh, it's just telling me the packs are off. On what would be just a normal beautiful day here in Qatar. Alright, we'll peel back the speed just a bit, just to give our brakes, give our tyres some relief before we drift around this corner like so. few different aircraft at this airport. Definitely would be Qatar aircraft heavy, but there are a few like other aircraft like Ethiopian Airlines and Malaysian Airlines. Don't know what that airline is, but there's Morocco Air. As I now come up to this turning bay here, pull back the speed just a little bit. And drift around the corner. Right, everything looks pretty good there. Always, because it's just me in the cockpit, I just like to always double check, make sure there's nothing that I've missed. Right, I'm gonna turn on my landing lights, turn on my strobe lights. We're pretty much closest we can get to the runway. That's all set, so we're gonna be all ready for our takeoff. So I'll keep that warning there so I can so I remember to turn on the packs, but I'm pretty sure I won't forget those. Come in for my second to last turn. And we're just going to carry on. Can't see any aircraft on my radar. Ready for takeoff. And like I've said a few times in the video, going off what real world pilots do, you don't need to, unless there's, of course, there's aircraft on the runway, you don't need to come to a complete stop. Using that momentum to carry on. Everything's all set. Start increasing the throttle. Get it to around about, I believe it's 40%, but I've got real no indications of where that is, so I'll just try it there, let it stabilize a bit. Click on the magic toga button and away we go. And I'll push the LNAV too while I'm there. That's one thing I did forget to do. I'll listen to that beautiful sound of those General Electric engines powering up. Do a nice little outside view there. We're just a bit over the center line there, but that's alright. Looks like lots of construction happening at this airport. Alright, we're almost ready to do our rotate. I'll go outside and watch the landing gear go up. That's my favourite part about aircraft, is the landing gear. Love that view of the landing gear going up. That's always my favourite part when I'm watching planes. Oh, I should pull back just a bit more. That's the joys of being outside, is you don't get to pay attention with the with these little crosshair things you were trying to follow. Right, we'll put our speed up to speed it up. And I'm just going to turn on the autopilot. Enjoy the view of it climbing on out over Dubai, not a Dubai, Qatar. The big CBD over there. A little cruise terminal over there by the looks of it. Right, we'll get back into the cockpit, put our flaps up. I should check my SID, see if there's any flight restrictions, any speed restrictions. And that's not the right, flaps. The last bit of flaps can now come up. We'll select the right, we'll turn on our packs before we forget. Can turn off our taxi lights. And there are no speed restrictions, so we'll fire it up to 250. We'll put those onto auto now. Select 250. Get rid of that checklist. We're just going to use, I'll just have that on that, like so. Not that I'm going to be in the cockpit much longer. And we'll just go to VNAV now. Dial this up a bit. Select weather radar, and we will enjoy the view as it climbs on out over Qatar. Such a beautiful aircraft, the 777-200. Alright, we'll just speed it up just a little bit. It looks like one of those football stadiums they would have used for the Football World Cup. And we will, once we get out of this like zigzaggy bit, we will go ahead. I'll just go to legs page into here, and I'm just going to override this altitude restriction. Just by pushing this button there, that should override that. Sounds like a car almost, eh? That engine sound. Alright, we'll turn off the landing lights. Turn off the logo lights, we don't need those anymore. And we'll turn off the seatbelt signs, and that is basically us for the flight. What we will do is we'll just check, we'll enter in our automatic step climbs. So Davis is going to be 360. 360 step, put it into here, and the next one is going to be Macole at 38. So 380S at, where is it? This one here. And execute, and that's our legs page all set up. We're just going to go into standard now. And that's our flight setup, ladies and gentlemen. You can just sit back and relax and enjoy the view as we power on our way over the through the Middle East and up through Europe. And I'll just get this for a bit of reference for the video. So yeah, enjoy the flight, folks. I'm just trying to figure out which would be the best view. I'll probably have it like that so we can sort of see, we can look out towards Istanbul and the mountains over here. So get that set up once again. And yeah, we'll see you guys very shortly. guys, welcome back. We've just been given our runway arrival, so we're getting pretty close to starting our top of descent. So runway 24 and AGPE, this one here, arrival, so we'll execute that. Yeah, so we'll be probably doing lots of vectoring, so we're gonna get that first altitude set. We'll just go a couple thousand feet below it, just so ATC can sort of catch up when we're in that fast mode. But yeah, we'll have a look at our runway. Oh, just get rid of that. Oh, we're going to be selecting our RLS final. And there wasn't any other, just that. That is our expected approach. So it's all going to be vectoring basically. What we'll do is we'll get our landing data up, import our weight, everything's operational. We'll try flaps 25, see what that gives us. So we are going to be rolling out near the end of the runway. That's where I believe the heavies that arrive into Edinburgh, they do roll out basically to the end of the runway. I believe that, I mean, I think they do use taxiway B. I'll just have another look. But I think Edinburgh Airport, the big aircraft usually roll out to the end. Yeah, by the looks of it, yeah, they will roll out to the end, so we will... Oop. Next altitude is 7,000 feet. Yeah, so we do roll out to basically the end of the runway, so that's good to know. So yeah, what we've got there, we're going to be, yeah, basically coming to a stop just before the end there, so that's all good. We'll put that into our init reference page, flaps 25, and then we'll just go back into the legs page, like so. I'm just deploying some spoilers just to catch up. Alright, we'll go into here and we're going to select auto brakes 3. That's all good. Oh, one thing we will do is we will select our parking bay that Emirates usually predominantly uses, so it's going to be 16, I do believe, so we'll select 16. I'll just have one double check, see which one they use. Yeah, it's predominantly 16, so I will go into here and just make sure I select 16 like so. I still need to get my some of my data for my RLS, just my minimums. I'm guessing it's going to be pretty. I'm just going to go with I'm just going to go for standard cat-free approach. I get the feeling Edinburgh is going to be quite icky, so I'm going to go to radio. And I'm just going to select 50. And I'm just getting myself ready for vectoring very soon. Right, we better turn on the landing lights, turn on our taxi lights, turn on our logo light, we'll turn on the passenger signs. And I think we don't need to do the anti-ice, I think it's all automatic, isn't it? I think so. And what is my expected final approach fix? It's going to be 3,000 feet. Get that speed back. So we're all really pretty much set for our arrival. We got our ILS will automatically load up when we get near the runway. It looks like it's a very classic, typical cold and dreary day here in Edinburgh, Scotland. I could just say as a whole. I miss Scotland, and I do miss the weather. My partner not so much, but being here in Brisbane, it is so nice having this sunny weather, nice warm sunny weather. Right, we've got our vectoring. Let's see where this takes us, eh? I'm just taking that 1,000 feet below just for ATC to catch up. Right, we can now set that QNH to 117. So we've got our QNH done, and those will just automatically sort themselves out, but we'll set our speed now to 210 knots. Turn right heading runway, turn right 0. Oh, and now we're going to go back to 025. I think we'll put down some flaps. Alright, what is the actual QNH? Yeah, it's 17, so we'll keep it like that. Yeah, it's a very foggy day here in Edinburgh. Peel back our speed to 180. Just a little smidgen below that. Oh, we've broken out of that foggy bit here. Oh, I better keep inside the plane and follow these instructions. But I was just going to say that definitely reminds me of being in Scotland when I was there. The little fishing side ports in the old buildings. Alright, I'm just going to take that sim rate just back a little bit. Alright, I'll put some flaps down. Yeah, it's interesting, this vectoring. Let's see how it all goes, eh? Right, I think we'll be getting close to establishing ourselves on the RLS, so we'll bear that in mind with, I guess you could say, the system behind it, which is basically our runway heading, I think. Right, that's us. We will arm the localizer. So yeah, the vectoring wasn't too bad. It can be a little bit hit and miss, but as in like thereabouts. But as a whole, it does seem to work pretty good, if that makes sense. Yeah, what I'm saying is the vectoring is a bit like, I'm guessing in real life they'll just give you clearance to be cleared on the ILS, but although I'm not a pilot anyway, but no, that seems to be really well. That seems to work really well there. Alright, we're just going to go into approach mode now. And I think we should start thinking about peeling our speed back for our approach speed. I'll go around altitude. It's going to be 3,000 feet, so we don't need to actually. Yeah, it's just 3,000 feet, so we don't need to change anything there. And I'll put some landing gear down. Might do the next stage of flaps. And I'll set my final approach speed. And that's us all established on the RLS, or configured for our approach. Once that final bit of flaps is deployed, can get rid of that checklist. We'll go to terrain radar. We don't need the weather radar. Looks like it's just a low cloud day here in Edinburgh. Make sure everything else is all as it should be. Seatbelt signs, the landing lights and everything are on. I have turned that down a notch so I don't get those warnings. Yeah, flying in over Edinburgh City. Very beautiful city over there. You got the castle and all the fantastic beautiful old buildings. And there's a really cool little village that we stayed once over here, which is a really cool place. And you've got your iconic 4th rail bridge. A very beautiful city, very beautiful country. I do miss my time in Scotland. I do miss those real old buildings, and that looks like one of those. I never know how it works, but that's one of those gas tower things there. And over in the distance somewhere you'll probably, if you're on the passenger seat, you'll probably see the football stadiums over there. Right, we will. I guess we should attempt to take over with our I think I need to probably look at doing that YouTube video that I saw about cleaning my thrustmaster joystick. It's a bit sensitive. I do believe it's from all of that travelling that I've done. Just getting a little bit off course here. That's alright, we are in the great simulation world of Microsoft Flight Simulator, where those sort of things don't, the finer details are not so bad. Now flying over the railway bridge, the railway tracks there, which is pretty cool. You're basically just skirting along the end of the runway there. It's a really cool train ride.
Minimums.
Right, I think that is us.
20.
Pull back
10.
the speed. Lift that nose. And there we go, touchdown. And the game's gone all funny like this, but we'd better get it back on track. Take out some of those runway lights. It's a bit rough there, but that's what happens when you go outside and give you guys the nice outside view. But here we are, folks. Arrived into Edinburgh Airport. I'll turn off that auto brake. And we'll turn on that APU, get that fired up. As we roll on out to the very end of the runway, we'll get this map up for our directions. And yeah, here we are. Arrived in beautiful Bonnie, Scotland. I'll turn off the landing lights, turn off the strobe lights. Flaps can now come up. Nice gentle turn like so, and I guess we can clear this warning here. We'll just have our checklist open, but we will turn off these runway extension lights. We'll get the cabin crew to disarm all of the doors. And get that ready for our power unit to be plugged in, and we can now turn our transponder just to that setting. And it's just the leisurely taxi on back to our gates. And we can turn off our flight directors to reset that. The burrow, maybe select it back to burrow mode. I'm guessing that's what pilots do. We'll just beat it past this EasyJet. Factory stop. And in true fashion, it's freezing cold outside, but we'll get some nice, cool avgas air into the cockpit. It's been a very long, stuffy flight here. We need some fresh air. Yeah, this in Glasgow Airport, I can imagine for pilots, this is right on the edge of their comfort zone regarding their runway's fine. It's probably on the smaller side, but it's more the clutter around the airfield here. I can imagine A380s pilots would find this quite claustrophobic in a way. But if these airports get them, then they are, I guess in the definition, they are able to take them, so, you know. But yes, I can imagine being a pilot and being at these airports, being a large aircraft, I guess you would get that feeling of slight claustrophobia, as we have a nice Icelandic air. I do like that livery actually, it's a really, really nice crisp livery, that. But it makes me, I do want to do some more flying with those turboprops like Logan Air. I think I might do that in the next video. I might do some flying around the British Isles. Right, this is our sort of our last stop before we park up. Our last turn, I should say. And what's that in the distance there? That's a very green tail. Ah, it's Aerolingus. Right, we can turn off our taxi light. We're close enough now to our terminal. And every time I've been to Edinburgh, this is predominantly the taxiway, the parking bay. Without fail, there'd always be a Qatar Airlines A350 or a 787 parked up. And here we are. Hard right round. And I think I'll just use this parking bay here, and that's us, folks. I'll disarm those doors up here, and we can now come ahead and turn off the engines, turn off the transponder, call up the jetway, set the chocks. Request ground power, and we'll turn off the strobe lights, the beacon light I should say, turn off these, turn off the passenger seatbelt sign, we can turn off these hydraulics, fuel pumps can now come off, get that ground power connected up, and I think for that, that's all I need to do. I'll just give it a bit of engines are still shutting down. Oh, here we go. And here we are, folks. All planes all configured for unloading, and I hope you enjoy that flight, and we'll see you again next time. Maybe next time we'll do some seeing that Loganair aircraft. It's given me some inspiration to do some flying around here with that lovely Asobo ATR. That's a bit hit and miss, but yeah, here we are. I hope you enjoy the flight, and we'll see you again next time.